We got a new one.
A new one coming up today for you guys. I'm super excited for this, Ben. What do we got going on today?
Yeah, so I hopefully you guys could tell by the new tone. You didn't have the casual Bradbury played string guitar there at the beginning. You had the nice
Or something like that. We actually haven't even chosen the sound.
So we haven't actually chose the sound, so I'm not sure what you guys are going to hear, but you're going to hear something different.
Yep.
We'll address that when we get to it. But the fact being,
yes,
we got a new, not a new podcast. We're still delivering more. We're still bringing you the same good stuff we're always going to bring you. But
something new.
Yeah, we have no interview today. We should start out with. So no interview. You got Ben and T. That's it. That's all you're getting today, folks.
Yep.
But we're bringing you an in the news style podcast here today. And basically, we're going to try and recreate this every month over month, right? So this week's podcast will be March in the news. Basically just trying to give you an overview of things that transpired throughout March in the gig economy, right? So delivery services, delivery platforms, delivery aggregators, marketplaces, anything and everything that happened. We're just going to try and review and then even give you some updates on the DeliverThat platform as well and things, that might apply to DeliverThat drivers specifically.
Yeah, we're going to be kind of like the gig economy news anchors here. You can call me Anchor Man. You can call him Anchor Woman. And we will be bringing we might actually replace your, your regular news channel because
we'll try.
We're going to bring it so strong. It's so powerful. And there's no worry to be cordial. We're not doing an interview where we need to have that rapport. So we're just going to be here bringing it, how we bring it authentically as we are.
Yeah, we're really kind of just going off the dome here too. We have our topics, but we're just going to kind of see how it works and we're going to flesh it out as we go. And this will be released to you when it gets released to you. So let's roll into it. This week, we're going to start with some acquisitions and mergers because there were a couple big ones to you, a couple big ones, a couple big name brands, big name companies. And we'll start out with big old DoorDash.
DD.
They acquired a company called Bebot. That's a great name. I like that name. Bebot. It is not a robotics company as you would think, though, maybe as the name perceives. They are more of a POS or a payment solutions company, right? So they're going to more or less be leveraging their access to the payment acquisition side of things for DoorDash, more or less presenting QR codes at table side, kind of transitioning into a fundamental realm where they're kind of doing something they've never really done before,
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because obviously DoorDash is, focused on delivery primarily, but this is one of those payment solutions in the sense where you can have maybe a tablet at your table and you can all order on that tablet on a same or separate checks based on your seat.
Right.
I'm sure there's a lot more to the technology, but it's definitely a different take that DoorDash has because it's not delivery. It's in-house. And,
right.
That's a shift,
Right. Yeah. It's kind of bringing them into the first party realm as well. Right. So they've always been a third party solution and now they're kind of making their way into a first party solution where they're going to integrate more within the restaurant businesses themselves. So we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, great success to them. I'm sure they're happy about the acquisition and the merger as well.
What really happened was DeliverThat was just chasing them out of the third party delivery, environment. But really, I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great business move, and I got all best wishes to them. We're still going to run it up,
and we can kind of just roll over right into the next one because it's kind of more of the same, right?
Yeah.
So we had Olo, coming fresh off the IPO last year.
Fresh.
They have now acquired Omnivore, which is kind of a similar thing, right? It's another payment solution. And they're kind of jumping into the same waters as DoorDash, maybe actually kind of becoming direct competitors with each other, I would kind of say, because now you're going to be competing for that royalty or that percentage of purchase that you're getting off the check. Because obviously, I would assume, I'm not a payment solutions guy or anything by any means, but I would assume that if you use Omnivore or Bebot's payment solution, that royalty or percentage of paycheck is now going to go to Olo and DoorDash. So kind of a butting of heads acquisitions here, right?
Do you think that's what it's about?
I didn't necessarily navigate down that road until we've kind of discussed it here openly. So this is really off the dome thinking here, but Yeah, I mean, it realistically does put them in a position where they're now competing for, like we said, the first party acquisition of those customers and of those customers and consumer bills. And like, so if you have a $35 check at the end of your table and it's me and you and we split it, well, now I don't know, if we both pay so $17.50 and then we both tip $8 or whatever, so we both pay 25 each. I don't know, maybe 2%, 3% of that is now going to Olo and DoorDash. And we could be completely wrong here. I'm literally just spitballing what I think's happening here, but yeah, I mean, to answer your question originally, I think 100%, this is now putting them as direct competitors, right? Because now they're battling for the end consumer as well.
Well, and I think the one thing too that they had mentioned when I was reading about this was not only for Olo is this just like a new integration to a point of sale software. What it is it Omnivore itself has access to like over 100 different softwares that can be integrated into the point of sale,
like APIs.
Yes,
it's good stuff to integrate as well.
So it's actually just giving them access to all of those technologies without having to be that like third party. So that's going to be huge for them.
Yeah, and I will pull a quote I had scribbled down here right before we started, but CEO Noah Glass said he wants to take digital orders from 15% to 100%. So his grand vision and grand goal is to really take away the call-in orders, take away not necessarily your online ordering because it's digital ordering, but I would imagine he really is kind of positioning themselves to acquire all of the mobile ordering access that they possibly can. Because when I think of digital ordering, I think of like ordering off your mobile phone, not necessarily like going on a website and ordering, And we got some good ones here. And we're going to start it off good. And the headline itself is pretty juicy, but I almost think it's just funnier that we can all talk about it and be able to relate to it because it's very like everyone's been there before. And that is
a meme.
Yeah, and that is McDonald's getting hit with a $900 million lawsuit by the company that was hired to fix their McFlurry machines.
So when you go to a McDonald's at night and they tell their ice cream machine's broken, everybody's heard it, right?
Everybody's been through
There's a lawsuit in regards to this now, and it's not a small one. It's a $900 million lawsuit.
$900 million, almost a billy, almost a billy lawsuit.
And, I'm sure enough. I mean, anybody who's had McDonald's experienced this, so it's probably worth about $900 million, if not more.
I mean, that's why this would be a funny one to talk about at the gate because, like you said, this is something. How many people you get in the drive-through? It's 8:30 at night. It's dark out. You're just wanting to end your night with like a large fry and an M&M McFlurry. You get to the window. You're not to the window to the ordering aspect of the drive-through. Hey, can I get that Oreo McFlurry? Hey, can I get that M&M McFlurry? No, sir. The machine is down tonight. Sorry.
Do you even believe them? You just think they don't want to clean it again?
Right. Yeah. They shut it down already, and they just have no interest in bringing it back up. But obviously, apparently, according to this company, the company that filed the lawsuit is Kitch Incorporated. Mm-hmm. And the weird thing about it is the company that was hired to fix the machines, right? So the manufacturer of the machines is by a company named Taylor. And there's sort of some collusion maybe happening, I think is what Kitch is kind of implying, saying that, Taylor and McDonald's were kind of colluding to get rid of Kitch themselves because Kitch as a company, they were in the process of getting a funding round and they were initially valued at a $50 million valuation. And the reason they're kind of filing this like defamation lawsuit is their valuation is almost down to like $3 to $5 million now.
Wow, so, just 10%, not even.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a tough look. And obviously, when something like that happens to your business, you almost have to like stand up for yourself, right? And be like, this isn't our fault. You guys are actively doing this to us. I kind of respect the move, right? You're kind of taking, it's almost a David and Goliath, like you're taking a shot at the big dog.
Yeah, I mean, and here in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. But the Kitch did claim that McDonald's was warning its competitors and the public that
I saw they warned Burger King is who was in the article we read, right?
That the machine posed a safety risk. And, who knows if that's true. There's going to be a trial. We'll see what happens. But I'm really interested to see what happens because I think many Americans and probably people from around the world can relate to this problem.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to start off with. Let's roll into the next one, though. And this one might be a little bit more of a touchy subject, a little closer to home. So we probably won't harp on it too much. But Bike, the grocery
BUYK.
Yeah, BUYK, the grocery delivery service, rather big, I believe, in like New York, probably like some major metros.
Russia.
Right. Yeah. Obviously, they're a Russian-based company, and the reason they're in the headlines is they had to file for bankruptcy basically and close down because of the war going on in Ukraine. Right. So the U.S. obviously filed all these sanctions on Russia, and this is a kind of a direct correlation of that. So they basically said that they have no funding because of these sanctions. They're unable to pay, I imagine, employees. They're unable to pay for advertising. They're unable to pay for, I imagine, like running the application as a whole. So
yeah, I mean, they furloughed 900 employees or so, somewhere around that. So huge, pretty big company. Actually, fairly new too. I think they started just a few years ago. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. So it's probably hard with all this happening, and that's just a heart goes out to that company because obviously we're a delivery company, and this is a good example of how war is like affecting the people in those companies in Russia and the people in Russia who are not necessarily directly related with it.
And it's almost like, for me, I wanted to talk about this story too because it's like watching like a comrade go down, right? Because they're a delivery service, we're a delivery service. It's not we don't have to be in this war all the time. War is a bad term there, but we don't have to be in this battle all the time to like butt heads with each other, right? They're grocery delivery. They're in a large city like New York, these major metropolitan areas where they're not necessarily even servicing the same things we are doing or even in the same realm. So it's not like something where we're like overjoyed or anything or happy to see something that's like this happen. I think this is an actual like tragedy that is caused directly by things outside of their control, right? This isn't something they did to put themselves through bankruptcy. This isn't some mistake they made to lose out on all this business. It's simply out of their control in a matter where they can't help that they're founded in Russia. They can't they can't help that. So that's just what it is, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And I did want to say I don't know him personally, but James Walker, the CEO of Bike, he posts on LinkedIn pretty frequently, and obviously I'm a big LinkedIn guy, and he's posted some pretty heartfelt messages over the past week, just kind of updating people on what's going on and things like that. So props to him, shout out to him for kind of battling through this and hoping to get things back up and running as soon as possible. So hopefully they do.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to this next one, which I really found interesting, and also
this is a good one.
We're going to be seeing it more and more in the future. And what this is White Castle to install fry cooking robot in 100 of their restaurants. So just a beginning, but wow.
Yeah, I think this one. So we've never really talked about it on the podcast or on camera or anything, because obviously we're usually focused on like the drivers and the restaurants and our partners and things like that. But for me, this is a no-brainer solution, right? Because what you always talk about is AI and robotics not necessarily taking over like the creative side of things that businesses do, but taking over like the monotonous back of house tasks that can easily be automated, easily be worked out to configure much quicker and done just as efficient as a human being in the back, flipping the burgers, dropping the fries in the fryer, taking them out on time, putting the cheese on the burger, getting the bun set up. So I think personally, this is like a no-brainer. I would not be, I'll throw out a nonsense prediction, but I think in 5 to 10 years that this is like, so we'll get into the company. The company is Miso Robotics, and they're actually, and the product they're installing is called the Flippy 2.
The Flippy. Such a good name.
Flippy number 1, not great. Flippy 2, you got it.
And to be clear, I think what it does is it, it works the fry cooking. So the fries, onion rings, and like puts them in the correct spots and stuff. And they actually mentioned too, like White Castle wasn't saying like that they were trying to like replace employees or anything like that, but just the efficiency of it is much more efficient than a human, and it clears up the lane space. Yeah,
it makes too much sense, I think, in my mind. And I did want to say too, we're kind of navigating down these realms what these companies are being valued at. And Miso Robotics is a funding round too right now. I think I saw a Series E in that article. I'm not even sure what that means, to be honest, but they're evaluated at $500 million right now. So they're about to go public, basically. Well, not go public with White Castle, but implement this with White Castle, and that valuation is just like,
Yeah, and let's throw a picture up of those machines too, Jim.
Oh yeah,
those
we got
super cool
Jim
looking.
Can throw those up. Those are great.
They're kind of scary, honestly. Like pretty soon, like, are you gonna go to a fast food restaurant and there's gonna be nobody working there? And then there's gonna be robots making your food, and it does make sense. I mean, that's what you were saying before, and I think that's probably the future. And it might be down the line, but like, why wouldn't it be?
And I disagree kind of I know what you meant by what you said it, but it won't be you go into a restaurant and there's no human element there. It'll be there's a human element in the front of house.
Yeah.
So now they're there to expedite customer issues. Now they're there to fix a problem if it happened. Now they're there to see how your experience is going. They're there to make things more seamless. They're there to help you out. They're not in the back scrambling to get 50 burgers made. You know, they're not in the back missing a fry order and then getting the person at the cashier reamed out because they missed it. You know, they're literally there to be a solution, you know, find solutions and be a problem solver. You know, and the automation thing, it's just a no-brainer.
And there's gonna be obviously gonna be people hired to have to fix those things and whatnot until they get robots to fix robots. But that'll be a scary world that's down the line.
Robots fixing robots. That's a realm. That's a realm.
But it's going to be cool. I honestly, too, think that just in general, maybe covering some of the more monotonous jobs in the future, not just in the food industry, but all around, it's going to be important just for human evolution as a whole.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense in my mind. And we'll let's get to this last one here. This is our last major headline of March, and this one just happened like last week. We just updated this list, I think, middle of last week to add this story. And we touched on earlier kind of talking about our competitors and things of that nature. And this one is like a direct competitor of DeliverThat. So we'll touch on it very lightly, but Grubhub is being sued by
DC,
Washington, D.C. I was going to call it a city. What's it called? It's like
it is the District of Columbia.
District of Columbia, right. So, I mean, and it's a tough look, man. It's a really tough look, especially they're already coming. I don't even think the lawsuit that was filed last year with Chicago got resolved yet. I think that's still ongoing probably. And, you know, if you read the article, actually, Jim, when we talk about these, can you flash the link to the article in the bottom of the video? Or maybe we'll put the links in the description of the video is what we'll do. We'll put the links in the description of the video. So you guys wrap up all the links. Right. Yeah. So so we'll put all these links in the description of the video, and that's where you guys can navigate them if you wish to read them in more extensive fashion. But I just want to say when I read the article, is very similar to the Chicago lawsuit in my mind. So it's just more of the same. And I'm not going to harp on Grubhub too much. I've never used their platform. I'm not a restaurant operator. So I don't necessarily know what tactics they're using to get more customers, to get more restaurant partners and things like that.
Yeah.
But one thing I will point out is in the article, and obviously this is all alleged because this is an ongoing lawsuit. So we're not here to, you know, point fingers and say who's wrong or right. But in the article, it says over 1,000 restaurants are on the application who have never signed up to be a restaurant partner. That's a pretty big no-no in my eyes. That's basically like stealing someone's likeness and image and using it for yourself. That's a tough look. That's a really tough look in my mind. And then I think there's been similar statements like this for Grubhub, and I don't know if other delivery services ran things like this and got called out for it, but the Supper for Support program they ran. Okay. They basically were offering a $10 off for every order over $30, saying that this was to help the restaurants and kind of alleviate some back end issues they were having for being able to pay for delivery services and things like that. And it basically in the lawsuit comes out that the cost was just being pushed to the restaurant.
Yeah. So this is in the COVID-19 pandemic. They were trying to support the restaurants by running this, what they call the Supper for Support promotion. And then the lawsuit claims that literally the restaurant was just paying that $10 promotion and Grubhub was not.
Yeah, it's tough.
Which would be insane if that was true. That is like just absolutely ridiculous. But you know, hey, it's still in trial. We'll see what happens.
Everything we're talking about is alleged. You know, I'm not here to get sued for defamation or anything. So this is all alleged. This is an ongoing lawsuit, and I'm only literally speaking about what was in the article that I read multiple times before we prepared this podcast. So, you know, again, not going to point fingers, but it's just, I simply hate stories like this because it is just another blemish on the third party delivery world.
Right.
And it's very tough when these large companies like a DoorDash, like a Grubhub, like a Postmates, they get these terrible reputations by their consumers, by the restaurants, by any provider that utilizes them. Well, how is a company that is basically a mom and pop shop compared to them like DeliverThat? How are we supposed to walk into these restaurants and sell a service when they've already been burned by a third-party delivery service over and over and over? well, they're not even going to consider our services. You know what I mean? It literally almost eliminates the conversation from ever happening.
And that's why we ask the drivers how we feel about the image of third-party delivery
exactly.
services.
That is exactly why I asked
because I'm curious how they feel perceived, you know?
Yeah.
Because of things like this. But I also, did you remember that one story very similar too as well, where one of the platforms, which I won't name, was putting this pizza shop owner's pizza on their application for cheaper than he was actually selling it for. So it was kind of like down, grading like what it was worth. So he just started ordering the pizzas on there and making money on it because he was selling them for more than they were being bought for or something like that. And he wrote a whole article about it called the platform trash, but it was very similar to what is said to be happening here. Oh, and they put him on there without his consent too.
Right. That's a huge red flag in my mind too. Like we talked about, using someone's name, image, likeness, like that is like day one stuff that you cannot do.
Yeah.
Like just literally simply cannot.
You just hope it's not happening.
Especially when you're literally using it to profit. So like whether those restaurants, here's my thing where it gets a little dicey, I guess, is if those 1,000 restaurants or whatever were getting sent Grubhub orders and then they're still facilitating them, well then if I'm Grubhub, I just come back and say, well, if you didn't want us to use you guys or put you guys on our platform, why'd you facilitate the deliveries? You know what I mean? So that's probably where, as Grubhub, I would imagine, will combat it a little bit and be like, well,
plus, how do you even get the orders?
Right, exactly. Right. Yeah. If we put you on, that's, I don't know. There's a rabbit hole of things, I'm sure, and litigation that's going to be unfolding over the next, probably, I would assume, like years. I imagine this won't get solved shortly.
You might think though that that the one filing the suit, DC, must have some sort of a grounds for doing that. I mean, who knows?
I mean, when another major city, Chicago, did the same thing last year, I would not be surprised, unfortunately, if this begins to roll out like across a lot of major cities.
Yeah.
A lot of major cities, I think, because it's come to a point and come to a head where these businesses are being looked at as predatory businesses. And when you get to a point where the end consumer also has that viewpoint, where as much as a convenience factor as these services bring, when you now jeopardize your relationship with the end consumer and jeopardize your relationship with your partners, well then who do you turn to, right? If all sides are just pointing at you and bad mouthing you, and you're the only one who has to uphold your reputation, well, no one's going to believe you when you try to uphold your reputation if everyone else is already saying all this bad stuff about you.
Yeah, but when you grow that big, it's hard to manage that as well, I bet.
Of course.
So
yeah, for sure. Very hard.
I guess we'll see how this pans out. I'm interested to see the results.
Right. Yeah. Tough note to end on, but yeah, we had to talk about it. So that is what it is.
But we got some good notes now.
Yeah. So now we're actually going to get into a little more of some Deliver That focused segments, right? We just kind of want to, if you're a Deliver That driver, obviously this would be very good for you to watch, kind of to understand some numbers that other drivers are making or aspiring to, I guess we could call it.
What they're capable, what you're capable of doing.
That's a better way to say it, what they're capable of doing or providing. And then also, some updates, like updates on the app, updates on new markets and things of that nature. So first we'll get into, and this is like, we're giving heavy props here. We've never done this. We've never really talked about driver numbers specifically or individual drivers other than ones who come on the platform. But the top performers of March is what we're going to start out with.
And it's from February 21st to March 21st.
Right.
And these stats are actually crazy with these top performers.
Yeah. So we had to backlog the stats a little bit, right? Because we're recording this so it can release first week of April. So we had to kind of cut it off so we can record it before March actually ends. So we did backlog it. It is, like he said, February 21st to March 21st. It's still a 30-day period, still a month-long period, but not 100% only in March. But yeah, I mean, let's get into it. I know this first, man, I got nothing but good things to say about the first guy.
Just a great human being.
Yeah.
Gets the job done. That's Bill J in San Diego.
Billy.
In 1 month has taken 147 deliveries.
147 deliveries, man. Yeah, and that's over a 4-week span. Quick math, 147 divided by 4.
147 divided by 4? Oh, man, that's 5, 10, 15, 20. I don't know, man.
Jim.
3, 30, 2, 31.
31 and some change. 31 and some change deliveries a day. And quick I literally don't
Not at
know
all.
the figures
34.
he pulled in, but if we're taking 30 deliveries in a week on our platform, you multiply that by
35.
30,
36.
36 deliveries.
Don't put me on the spot like that. I look like I was dumb.
Yeah, we got, so Jim, thank you, Jim. So 36 deliveries a week. We're keeping all that in too. That's terrible math, Tristan. You suck at math.
Hey,
bro.
you had to ask me.
Yeah, I was not going to try and embarrass myself like you just did. So. Classic. But yeah, I mean, 36 deliveries a week. Quick math on our platform again, times 20. Also, because 20 is like the very low end of what a delivery pays on our platform.
That's like
literally
really
below. It's not even like what. It's not even a figure you usually make on a platform. But that's like that bare minimum. So 36 times 2, that's 72.
Yeah, that would be 2, 4, 6, 7. That'd be $720.
Yeah. So he's pulling in at bare minimum $720 a week. Hopefully, Bill, we're not putting him out on blast because he's made way more than that. I already know for a fact. We're literally lowballing these numbers. But yeah, so $720 a week times 2. I mean, you're $1,440 over a 2-week span, pulling in cash. I mean, he's raking it.
Yeah,
in.
That's what. Yeah, and
that's just under $3,000 a month, which is I would say a very livable means. But he's out in San Diego though, so you never know. And
that's true with the cost of living. But I do, after we get through these next two people too, I would go over like a little bit of what we see of how they're able to manage this. But so we got in Boston, Ghani, also known as G-San. Love G-San, great guy. 125 deliveries from February 21st to March 21st, which is absolutely outstanding. And a very busy person. These are people, we know them like because we see their name literally every day.
Especially Ghani. He is a guy I usually walk in the office a little later nowadays since I've changed positions, so around 8 a.m. But it's like, I'd say out of 5 days in the office, like 4 out of 5 days I sit down and there's already text from him.
Yeah.
Like,
very communicative.
Without a doubt. He's probably called us like at least once by like 9:30, checking in for more deliveries, asking if he can help out Tate more. I mean, and again, these first two guys, Bill and Ghani, I know Bill's probably been on the platform joined it in 2021 for sure.
Yeah, recently.
I know Ghani joined the platform like late 2021,
like very recently,
like October, November, December. I'm sorry we don't have the actual figures there, but both these guys are very new to the platform, and they're also guys that we don't want to get into a realm where we're just like sending these people deliveries and expecting them to take it, because you're independent contractors, so this is you're doing these deliveries when you want to, but these are individuals who shoot us texts and say send me everything you can.
More.
Like, yeah, Bill at one point, I don't want to harp on this too much, but Bill at one point was accepting so many deliveries, we had to scale it back. And then it got to a point where he would like wake up in the morning, text us and say, send me my route for today. And we would just send whatever worked in San Diego for the day that was left open.
2, 5, 7.
It always ended up being from like 3 to 5, 3 to 6 deliveries a day. And he just took those deliveries, and look where he's at now. Now he's literally #1 driver on the platform. So unbelievable.
Yeah, top performer for that month. And also we have Nick G in Houston. Real awesome guy. We're at 122, only 3 less than G-San is. And I mean, these numbers are just outstanding. I didn't even know. I just saw these today. I knew we were going to be doing this. And then, Ben presented me with these numbers. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that is crazy.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is insane. I mean, I don't know if you just did the math. How many was that a day for Bill? It was a week. It was 36.
A week it was 36. So these guys are probably, I don't know, down to 30.
That's like 6. That is 6.
Well, yeah. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 30. So that's just over 30 a week.
So we're doing 5, 6 a day here.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
Without a doubt. And again, Nick's a guy who's been on the platform for a little longer. He's down in Houston. So he's our #3 driver for the month. He's down in Houston. And he's been on the platform probably, I'd say this is probably year 2, 3.
No. This is probably the second.
Yeah,
it's like the early after he's been here for a year probably, and then probably like
this is year
early.
2.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
He came out in 2020 for sure. I think.
Yeah.
If not late 2019. But I mean, he's a mainstay. Another guy that you hear, like we talked about, the successful drivers on our platform, you don't necessarily hear from all the time because they're able to problem solve themselves. But he's another guy who reaches out, almost consistently, like at least once a day, checks in, gives the hotline a call, says what's up. lets us know when he's running late to deliveries.
Yep.
You know,
Always.
Always a guy who, if you need help on a delivery,
Yep.
breakfast deliveries, lunch deliveries, if you got a no-show, a late call off, you're calling Nick, you're calling Ghani, you're calling Bill. Hey, can you help us out? They're saying yes, no questions.
I know it's like a 99% yes. And here's the thing too that I wanted to mention is they're not, one thing that is different. So Boston's a pretty like conglomerated place. There's a lot of traffic, but everything's pretty close together. But like, for example, in San Diego and Houston, you know, we don't just deliver in Houston, we deliver in Spring, we deliver in Kingwood, we deliver all over the areas.
Right.
So they're not afraid to drive to take like maybe multiple routes. And if they are only taking one delivery, you know, they're not afraid to, hey, can you help me out with a little bit of gas? Cause I do have to drive up here. So there's things that they're doing. Like, for example, Bill in San Diego, like that is, there's all the way up, what is it?
Carlsbad, I think.
Carlsbad, all the way down to La Jolla.
You go to Poway, you go down south to the actual city of San Diego, and then you
what's
go all
below there? Is it? It's not La Jolla, is it?
There's something, yeah. Because we have a couple Luna Grills down there.
Okay, but he'll literally drive all. I know it sounds crazy, but he'll literally drive all the way around there, and you think, well, how's he making money? Well, some of the deliveries have extra mileage commission. Some of them have really good tips, and then also we help him out on gas if you know he requests. So the ways to get deliveries like this is, first, you got to be in a good metro. Don't get me wrong; some metros aren't as busy.
Of course.
We're constantly working on that. 2, don't be afraid to drive. Don't be afraid to ask for a little bit of gas money if you have to drive, and it makes sense. And 3, if you just be available, they're available.
Yeah,
they're making a living doing this.
Right, ready and willing to help. You know, at all times, I think is something you can kind of bookend that with, without a doubt.
Yep,
without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, moving on here. So that's our top performers, right? So we'll relist them. Number 1, Bill J in San Diego with 147, Ghani in Boston with 125, and Nick G in Dallas with 122.
All right. Well, Ben, I want to get into something you dabble in a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
And that's our new partners. We got 2 on the books here, new partners that we are now working with in different cities. And Ben, you want to go over what we're looking at there?
Yeah. So the first one we'll talk about is Pheasant in Brooklyn. And to be honest, we should have talked to Cody about this, because this is a account he brought on. I just stuttered so bad there. This is an account that he brought on and he will be managing moving forward. Tristan, if you can Google them real quick, I believe they're a Mediterranean type brand. To be 100% honest, I tried to Google them and get like when they were founded and when they started, and I couldn't find anything. Their website is very straightforward. Yeah, there's not a whole lot on there. It's got their
polenta, focaccia. It's a gnocchi. Wow. Ooh, smoked salmon Benny. They got breakfast. How about that?
Go back to Google. What's it?
It's family style Mediterranean.
Mediterranean. Okay, so I was right with Mediterranean. I knew I saw that
New
somewhere.
American cuisine.
New American cuisine. Not necessarily sure what that means, but yeah, they're right in Brooklyn. So we just started working with them this month. I think we've taken a few deliveries for them here and there since the partnership started. But yeah, so I mean, shout out any Brooklyn drivers. You know, I know we already have Honey Girl up there who submits directly. Now we have Pheasant. Obviously, we got a ton of Easy Caters up there. You're traveling kind of across the highways and across the bridges out there in Brooklyn. So we're realistically just doing everything we can to get everyone more opportunities out there.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about Pheasant too is some of my favorite places offer brunch, like breakfast, lunch, or and alcohol too. Love that.
They have that? Like
all
they have
kinds.
Mimosas?
Cocktails. I'm not sure. I didn't look at mimosas, but different cocktails. I'm sure they do.
Dang, that's
beer,
a pretty big
cider,
menu.
You know, then they have like actual like, you know, liquor. And then with brunch, it's just like my favorite mix. I go a couple places around here where you can just have like a mimosa and have like breakfast.
Yeah,
Love
it's nice.
that.
Yeah. I'm not a huge brunch guy, but I'll dabble. I'll definitely dabble. And then I know you said we had 2 new partners, but the second one's actually not a new partner, is a new location though. But we do want to shout this partner out because we just had Alicia on the podcast a few weeks ago. And obviously she's a fantastic woman to work with, really understands her business and what we're doing on our end as well.
Yeah.
But Coyo Taco is opening actually it has been opened. They're not opening. They have opened a new location in Fort Lauderdale. And we could probably announce this because this will be coming out next week. So we'll be down at this new location at the end of April.
Oh man, you about to go to that speakeasy, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, we haven't actually told. This actually might be the first time the public is being made. Well, we've sent surveys out to Miami and everything. I think, Jim. But right, we sent like surveys out to the Miami drivers and things. So the Florida drivers are aware, but we can obviously let the public know as well. We're doing a little a meet and greet down in Florida. So we're gonna start out in Miami at Coyo Taco at this new Fort Lauderdale location.
Just like we said in the podcast.
Yeah. So yeah, she requested we fly down, so we are flying down there to check it out. And we're kind of dabbling a few different things. Me and Jim are doing some marketing things. We're gonna kind of follow a delivery and bookend, front to back. How we're gonna record Coyo making the food. We're gonna record them packaging it. We're gonna record the driver picking it up. We're gonna record the drive to the customer, the interaction with the customer, the setup, and kind of really give an overview of what a delivery with DeliverThat is like, and kind of get a better perspective on that. And we're going to be doing that in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
All three places? Do you guys are send out surveys to try to figure out what driver you're going to be, working with?
Actually, no, we haven't talked to the drivers we'll be utilizing yet, but we have talked to the partners we'll be utilizing. Okay. So I think driver would probably be a little maybe easier to arrange. So we haven't necessarily thought about that yet. But aside from that, so that was just some marketing things I touched on there. So we'll also be having anyone who isn't a DeliverThat driver. If you're watching this, we're holding a recruiting event also in all those cities as well. Usually from I think about 11 to 2 or 11 to 3. This event, I believe, will be at Coyo as well. So if you want to be a driver, if you want more information about the platform, meet us there. We're going to have a crew of people there, like 5 or 6 of us. We're going to have Darian, Christian, me, Holly, Sade.
You're sending the whole squad.
Jim. Yeah, so we got like a solid 6 or 7 crew going down. And then the evening where is gonna get a little good. So the evening is the meet and greet. I think you guys are going to get a few free drink tickets. Obviously, if you want to come and chow on some tacos and
Coyo?
Yeah, so having some margs, meeting the crew. I think we're gonna set up a little raffle, give away some bags, some shirts, some merch, and things like that. Obviously, we're gonna have some goodie bags and all that good stuff as well. So it's setting up to be a good time.
Oh, I have to come down, bring my computer, just to kind of do some dispatch out of the hotel room.
Just book your own flight.
Book my own flight, book my own hotel room, just be out there, just hang out. And then just have Jim pay me back.
That would be too funny. But yeah, so Coyo Taco in Fort Lauderdale. I know it's already open, but we'll be down there to check it out at the end of this month. Then following down a similar line of thought here, new partners. We're also going to go to new markets.
Well, yeah, I think we actually have launched 2 of these, at least, or maybe all 3 of them already.
New markets.
So check this out, though. Welcome to the team. Let's welcome these cities: Flint, Michigan, Stockton, California, and Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence, baby. I just got knocked out of March Madness.
Oh, ouch, man. Just had to rub that one in, didn't you? Providence, though, I watched this YouTube channel called like Happens in Providence or something, where they just have a really cool judge in Providence, and he'll just talk to the people. And like usually let them off, and they just record it and put them on YouTube Shorts. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's like in the court. It's all like traffic stops and things like that.
That's wild.
Yeah, and he's such a cool guy. If they're struggling single moms, he'll just let them off, and it's just a good thing.
I was gonna
represent Providence.
I was trying to think of stuff we could shout out about the cities, and all I can think for Flint, Michigan is Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. Flint, Michigan Mega Bowl. Jackie Moon, baby. I don't know if anyone Jim, what's that movie?
Somebody's got to get that reference, but not me.
Semi-pro. No, everyone is gonna know. Well, not everyone, but semi-pro. Great movie. That's like top 3 Will Ferrell movies all time.
And what about Stockton too?
Stockton. I have one for Stockton.
Okay.
The Diaz brothers from the UFC. Stockton, California, I believe. If you might have to Google that for me, but I'm like 90% certain they're from Stockton, California.
Okay.
So yeah, born and raised the Nate and Nick Diaz. That's all I know about Stockton. I'm not even necessarily sure where it is.
Home to California's oldest university.
Oh, what is it?
It is University of Pacific.
Oh.
Of the Pacific. Sorry.
Interesting. The Pacific. You call it the College of Pacific?
The College of the Pacific.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
University of the Pacific.
University of the Pacific, yeah.
Interesting. That's an interesting name. What else we got? What else we got on Stockton? Where's Stockton at in relation to LA? I'm honestly not too privy on the location.
Well, in relation to LA, we're looking like it is.
Oh boy, it's not even close.
No, it's actually way north.
Oh,
way
okay.
north. It's near more near San Francisco. Yeah, so it's east of
so
Oakland.
it's like a San Jose, San Francisco kind of place.
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit farther north. So would they call these NoCal?
I was way off.
Is this NoCal? And then there's
As opposed to
SoCal.
Yeah. Get that.
I heard that you guys are different, NoCal versus SoCal.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, I heard it, man.
All right. Yeah, but that's new markets. We got 3. We'll try to probably. I mean, I'm sure we have plenty more. I think those were just the most recent. So we got Flint, Michigan, Stockton, California, and Providence, Rhode Island. So folks, if you're watching, go apply. Apply. Help us open up these markets. Help us get more business. Help us provide for you guys. Because the only way we're gonna be able to solidify ourselves in these markets is if we get the drivers and then in turn the deliveries, or get the deliveries and in turn the drivers, and work our way from there. So if you're ready and willing, please join us.
Absolutely.
Let's roll into the next one though, T. We got the setup contest winners. This is the first time we're ever going to be doing this on the podcast, coming with the new in the news podcast as well. So we already voted, and these winners have already been released, I believe. Jim, have these winners been released to the public in any form?
But they're about to be.
Okay.
Okay, so by the time this is out, these will be released.
Okay, yeah. So the public and the winners will have been informed. So winners, check in. You can see your pictures posted for the public. Maybe do a little boasting and bragging in the comments.
Pictures of your setup.
Get the engagement up for us. We'd love that. But let's roll into. So T, do we want to go over the prizes for what these folks actually receive for participating?
Yeah, so if you're not a DeliverThat driver, go over to our link. You can do it at ideliverthat.com/podcast. You can do it on ideliverthat.com and sign up to be a driver, because we have some cool setup picture contest winners every single month.
Every month.
They receive pretty cool prizes, which we're going to go over now. So 5th place receives $50 in 1 thermal bag. That's 5th place. 4th place receives $50, 1 thermal bag, and 1 DT shirt.
Oh, yeah.
3rd place, $100, 1 thermal bag. So nice little jump there. 2nd place, $100, 1 thermal bag, 1 DT shirt. But the big winner is the first place.
The big dog.
Which is $200. This is directly deposited into your bank account, by the way. No gift cards or Visa cards mailed to you. This is straight to your bank account.
Straight to you.
2 thermal bags and 1 DT shirt as well. So $200, 2 thermal bags, and 1 DT shirt.
There's some great prizes.
I mean, just to come across $200 and some extra equipment every single in a month randomly, because all you did was take a picture of a setup that you tried hard on, is pretty awesome.
Right, yeah, and it's not like this is like some wild extra effort, like jump through hoops kind of contest. This is literally part of the deliveries on our platform, is to take these setup photos and submit them to us. All you have to do on your end is submit them by a form we have to enter the contest. So it's literally just like one more step. You already have the picture taken. You just got to submit it to us. It gets voted on internally. I believe we might be switching up the voting system to a more public forum moving forward, but we can touch on that later. But yeah, let's get into the photos themselves.
For sure. All right, let's hit this first one here. We got 5th place. We got Keri H from Oklahoma City.
OKC.
Before we even get into this picture, I just want to say we have a lot of repeat winners, which shows that there are a few tricks of the trades that you can take by looking at these pictures to realize, wow, I can actually win more than once.
And just participation, right? Like, it's almost like I can't necessarily think of the right word, but like a correlation when you see someone's name like over and over and over, you almost feel like more willing to like give them the benefit of the doubt because they're putting in the extra effort. So like, as you participate month over month over month over month, maybe the crew will be like, hey, Jackie's participated 6 months in a row. She has some great pictures. Let's give her one of these. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give her a vote, and then obviously we tally it. But so this picture here, Terry, great job. Everything's congruent, everything's aligned. You got all of the utensils on top of the trays, which is awesome. You got the napkins and the silverware and the plates all sitting together, right where you start getting your food. I don't know what the customer might not have wanted them open, which is totally fine. But this is basically a catering lineup. You walk down and you get your food, and it's just ready for you there. All you got to do is open the containers.
Yeah, pretty prime time picture. It's a very nice kitchen atmosphere, I'll say. I do not know. I'm not stonemason, but I'm going to say it's granite because, that's what usually everyone goes for, granite countertops. Probably isn't. It's probably like faux granite or whatever you would get, but we'll say it's granite.
Not everybody's broke, Ben.
Well, yeah.
All right,
a few of us, but Jim just zoomed in there. Jim, go back. Jim zoomed in. We got a little payway. I was corrected.
Is it
on
Pee-wee?
This. Well, see, I always say Pee-wee. I got made fun of by a new employee of ours, Justin, yesterday because he says everyone in Ohio or like in our office says Pee-wee and it's Payway. And Nate actually was very disgruntled about it as well. He was like, yeah, you guys are dummies.
I knew it was Payway, and then some people kept calling it Pee-wee, so I just kind of, I shouldn't have hopped on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I don't know. Payway, Pee-wee, whatever it is, it's got some branding on the cups there. Like Tristan said, you got the catering style lineup, plates, pans. Looks like on the back end we got maybe some napkins, things like that nature. But yeah, all in all, a great picture. It's very basic though, right? That's why I'd probably say it's only a 5th place winner. It's not, it's just the foil pans, a set down and get out, and you're kind of getting out of there. But the atmosphere is kind of what sets it apart.
It helps it. Yeah.
It's a very nice, very good lighting.
Gray on gray.
I mean, it's a good picture. 5th place.
All
5th
right.
place.
Let's hit this 4th place one. All right. So we got Aya.
I love this picture.
Aya or
I
Aya.
love this picture.
I don't know if that's an I or an L. It's an I, so Aya I. Yeah, I mean the difference here
from LA,
yeah. So from Los Angeles, Aya I, and the thing here I really like, and this isn't, you don't have the capability in this in every setup, but the food is open and the color really pops.
Right.
You got people already getting into the food. That's a plus.
Yeah, getting the customers in the photos a big plus sometimes. I like that. I like seeing that.
The angle of the picture, like, it just matters so much where you take the picture from. If she would have took the picture maybe from the Takaya side where the boxes aren't open yet, that might not have been there, but she took it from where the color was, where it was open. People are starting to eat.
It's almost like you wonder if this is like a one-off, like she happened to snap a good photo, or if like she understands like the angles and everything like that.
We've been giving some tips in the podcast.
Right, that's true. But like you said, what stands out immediately here is prior to the last picture, it was almost like a gray aesthetic, like gray fridge, gray counter, gray pans, silver, I guess maybe is better color there. But this picture, Jim pulled it up and it's like bright green, bright red, bright blue. You got, is that what do we got on the right?
Is
that fries or chips? What are the nacho chips? Nacho chips, it looks like, for like,
and plantains,
for like queso and stuff like that. So I mean, the colors in this picture are just remarkable. You got the big bay windows in the back, bringing the light into the photo, really accentuating it. It's great.
And like a great brand too.
Yeah. And the customers are clearly are already having a good time. They're already digging in, already ready to feast on the food. You got the Takaya boxes we've talked about over and over and over. That branding is superb. So
that wasn't easy. Look at all those. I mean, that took some effort to get that food.
Yeah, I mean that's easily, I'm gonna say ballpark $300 to $500 delivery. And T, I don't know, Jim just kind of pointed this out. It looks like we got some beer taps in the back. So I don't know if this is an office or a work environment or like just a venue.
That's why I voted for it. No, I'm just kidding.
These people are having a good time though. And then we got these two guys in the back right here too. They're digging in on something that's not even included in the picture. So this is, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, and the flow of the setup. So you got the chips, the plantains, you got the salsas. It kind of wraps around the table. Maybe you get into the meats we can't see because the containers are on.
Yeah, got to be like the meats and the quesos and things like that.
You don't want to be jumping all around the table to try to get your food together. You want to be able to go through one straight line and it be done.
True, unless we're coming back for seconds, which we will.
Yep.
Which we will. Jim, let's roll to third place. Oh boy, some branding. I never heard of this brand. Zocalo.
Really?
Zocalo. Have you heard of it?
He's been out of dispatch for too long.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Zocalo. So
let's shout out the driver first. Jim, can we get a zoom out here? Sumender S, Sacramento, California, third place winner, buddy. Congratulations.
2 Californias in a row that got some good brands up there.
Yeah, great branding here. A very straightforward drop though. I see, here's the thing where a driver clearly understands that the setup picture contest is an actual contest and you're competing against other people. So he could have done a simple drop off where he just included the silver aluminum pans, the individually boxed, is that meats and salads, is that it looks like, and then he's got the salsas on the right. But what he did here, he says, hey, I brought the boxes.
Yeah.
I'm putting them in the picture too.
I mean, just crazy.
It's literally that second, last decision that's like, let me step my photo up a little bit and get some branding in here. And that's why he's in third place. Because if he doesn't have those boxes in here, this is maybe not even getting voted on. You know what I mean?
I mean, It makes a big difference. It's the small things like that that you might not think of. And I don't know if that's his card in the background.
Yeah, he's got a cart in the back, lugging the stuff around. That's great to see.
Yeah, and the organization is just impeccable. Everything is completely aligned. Everything is together. All the salsas back there.
I wish we could. What do you think's in those like aluminum foil balls?
I don't know.
No, in the bottom right. Joe.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Tortillas. Gotta be.
Okay,
real small taco
shells,
some tacos,
maybe. A little taco bar. Nice. I like that. Zocalo. I like that name. I love the setup. Love the branding.
Using the space you got too.
Yeah, that looks like a pretty small table. So yeah, great job, Sumender. We appreciate your effort, buddy. Third place. All right. Congratulations. Let's top 2. Let's see.
All right. For the top 2, wow, this looks like a bigger one. This is Natalie O in Denver, Colorado. Jersey Mike's.
Denver.
Second place.
Denver.
Wow. So all right. So what do we got in the middle there? What is that?
Juices? Drinks.
Oh, we got the that's always.
It looks like a pink lemonade.
Yeah, those look so tiny in the picture. I wonder if they're actually, they look like shots. But yeah, I mean, this is beautiful. They got everything aligned. You got it on the sides. You got it in the back. You got everything in the middle. It's almost like the driver came in and kind of helped set up for the party. It wasn't just I'm leaving the food here.
Yeah, this is clearly again, I'm kind of thrown off all these work environments. If this is also work environment, it looks amazing. We got couch after couch after couch. Is it a doctor's office? Maybe it says our vision,
our mission.
Oh, our mission. Okay.
And the other one does say our vision. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is an office of some sort, but these offices are unbelievable. But like you said, man, this is where it's helpful to have a brand that already does it for you, right? Like these, like the Takaya boxes. It's you don't even have to do anything. You already got the branding done. Jersey Mike's, they got these sandwich boxes. It already says Jersey Mike's on the bottom. They already have the nice blue that goes with their branding and their colors. You have the sandwiches that already stack nicely in the box, so everything is neat, easy to line up because everything's a rectangle. You just bop, 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 bop.
Yeah.
You move on. You follow the line of the table. You get in. You get out. You throw some balloons in the picture. I don't know if he put, or she, I should say, she might have thrown the balloons in the picture for a little aesthetic, or they might have been there already. Who knows?
Yeah, and Jim, can you zoom in a little bit on the colored cups, maybe in the middle there, like the colored ones, like the green? Okay, so those are just
utensils.
Bows. Oh, those are
sauces. No, those are some mustards and utensils.
Okay,
maybe?
So the driver took the time to first of all align the napkins. I mean, this is symmetry, right?
Yeah, that is true. You could cut this thing down the middle, and you're looking at the same picture. That's true.
There was care taken in this, and that's
that's a hell of a job. Natalie
stands out. So.
That's a hell of a job.
Good job, Natalie.
Great job. Let's get a little.
For the number one place.
Keri. Wow. I like Keri. I deal with Keri a lot down in Temecula. She's a great woman. Great to deal with.
Yeah, Menifee, Temecula.
Yeah. Always traveling down there for us. Love that. But this I would say, obviously we got the DT branding here on the right. We love to see that. Not a whole lot of restaurant branding, but she was working with what she was given, right? Because obviously we got the individually box style lunch here. So, a lot of times that isn't going to be like branded specifically to the restaurant.
Yeah.
But this is a very neat, a very clean setup, I would say, is what is going to set this one apart, right? Because like previously we had the sophistication of the napkins being angled. Like in the back left here, you got those soda cans are lined up pristinely.
Yeah.
Those things could not be more in line.
And what's on the back right there too is lined up. The bags are literally like back right, the other side.
The sauces. I think it's sauces. Back right, Jim.
By the bag there.
Got to be sauces.
See how the cookies, they're all just laid out. So
cookies.
You can take one at a time,
Nice.
And Luna Grill. Wow. Okay, this was Luna Grill. Wow.
Shout out Kevin, baby. We love Luna
I wonder,
Grill.
So first of all, I want to say the scenery, it just helps so much. The background with that wood, but I wonder that one box that's sitting on top of the other one. I wonder if that bothered her that she couldn't get that as part of the alignment. It was just like
in
that
the bottom right.
Yeah,
there.
that one standout box.
Right. Yeah, it might have had that Luna Grill branding on it. That's amazing that you pointed out those cups, though. I would have never even thought to do that. I guess they must provide her cups to put the utensils in too, which is that's some forward thinking by the restaurant.
Good
too.
job, Luna Grill.
Yeah, that's a great thing to do for the driver. Give them somewhere instead of just laying them on the table. You got a little cup holder to put the utensils in. So that's great effort by the restaurant and the driver.
Can we zoom in before we move on from here so I can see? I want to see what's in these boxes, the actual food.
Luna Grill's in Mediterranean, so it looks like
These
some
are pita rolls,
some
yeah.
pitas. That's
pita like taco looking things. And then how about the timestamp? How do you get that on your photos?
I am so
I know
hungry
when this picture was taken, where it was taken. That's pretty cool because there's
someone told us about that. Chad
Really?
from GigTube said that might be that the tech he was using. He said he has those pictures that give you the timestamps.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah, and like we said, yeah, you already got Temecula right there in bottom right corner, so we called that. We were right on point.
Right on point. Yeah.
Right on point. Well, but let's Jim. Can we run down the names real quick? I just want to congratulate these folks again. I know 5th place Keri H, Oklahoma City, great woman. We've had her on the podcast. Everyone's met her, seen her. She does everything she can for herself and our brand, so we love her.
Mm-hmm.
Aya in LA.
Kind of a new name for me.
I believe she is further south,
mm-hmm.
kind of towards Irvine in those locations.
Okay.
I could be completely wrong, so I
well,
apologize.
Great job.
I apologize if I butchered that, but well, no, actually, she's got to be towards downtown because the Kayas are all towards San Bernardino and downtown. We don't have any south of downtown LA.
That's true.
So she's got to be close to downtown LA,
mm-hmm.
Right outside the city, I'd imagine. 3rd place, we had Sumender with the Zocalo.
Yep.
That's a great taco bar setup. Natalie O with the Jersey Mike's boxed lunches set up in the balloons.
Great
woman. Great background. And number 1, Keri H.
Good job, Keri. Good job, everybody.
Temecula, California. 1st place, getting that 200 bones, 2 thermal bags, 1 DT shirt. Coming at you quick. I think, Jim, do these prizes go out in accordance with the next payday? I would imagine. So like, this falls on the 1st week of April is when this is being released. So it'd be like the next Wednesday payment wouldn't they be receiving that cash?
Yeah. And before we move on to the last 2 things we have here, I just want to let you know if you are a driver or you're going to become a driver, the way that we see these pictures, the way that we vote on these pictures, very important, is you submit them. You take them and you submit them on the DAP, which is a driver assistance portal.
Like a 10-second process.
www.ideliverthat.com/DAP, and that is where you can submit those.
You should
pictures.
be able to just search setup picture contest
as well.
It'll take you right to the Zendesk article, and then you can submit from there.
Absolutely. All right, we got 2 more things for you before we close this podcast out. We're going to be going over some or just one more thing, right?
No, well, just one more topic, and then we're going to close it out with what people are going to see in the coming weeks.
Okay, cool. All right, so we want to talk a little bit about app updates. We feel like we need to get this communication out to the drivers. Sometimes things, pass through and they're not communicated effectively. Right. We're working on those things, and I think the podcast for those listeners will give you a little go ahead or a little heads up, I should say, on what's happening each month when we come out with this in the news podcast. Just 2 for this month. One is your order history will update after payment. That is things like the EasyCater tip pool,
right.
Or if an order was canceled and it doesn't show in your history immediately on payday, those things will now be patched into your history, so you can actually use your history to track your earnings. You can look at what each delivery, even if it was canceled. You can also see what the tip was on the EasyCater orders for that pay period, and that patch will happen on payday, obviously Wednesday and Friday.
Wednesdays and Fridays, yeah, exactly. You can go into your history on Wednesdays and Fridays, see those up-to-date payments, tally up, see what you're going to get, go from there. And make sure, I guess, not go from there because you're already getting paid, but make sure the payment you received aligns with what your delivery is actually paid out. Would be the end goal there, I believe. And then moving on, we and this, so the next point I'll make here, because this one kind of is something we get asked about a lot, right? And a reason we wanted to talk about the app updates is just to help you guys understand that we are addressing the issues, right? Or at least trying to, because we get like this second one, especially, it's the app sending you guys offline, like while you're looking for new deliveries or while you're on a delivery. And we're getting texts about that constantly, literally, hand over fist every single day, multiple drivers reaching out to us about it. And we just want to make sure you guys know, we're receiving that message and we are acting on it. It's not one of those things where we're just like brushing this to the side and saying, oh, this isn't a big deal because it's only happening to 10 drivers a day. Like, no, even if it's happening to 5 or 10 drivers, like that is something we want our application and our platform and our deliveries to be the easiest possible seamless transaction you could possibly have with the delivery service. We want no issues. Obviously, there's always going to be some sort of issue, but we want it to be as foolproof as humanly possible.
Yeah. And basically what's going on is the app is sending drivers offline without notification. And the reason for this, and there actually is a pretty easy fix for it. All it is if basically if you're just like not really moving at all and you're offline or you haven't moved in 30 minutes to an hour.
30 minutes. Yeah.
It will send you. I think it sends you a notification saying, you have been kicked offline. That's why we're getting the calls, because they were getting the drivers are getting these notifications, and you need to go just basically reopen the app is all you have to do. Basically, just reopen the app, make sure you're available, and that's the end of the story. Right. And I know it's like, okay, well, that's kind of a nuisance. I got to open my app every 30 minutes to an hour to make sure it's refreshed. But, on the other hand, we also get so many, I don't want to call them complaints, but so much feedback from drivers that they aren't being able to catch deliveries. They aren't, they're taken so quick. Well, honestly, like having a periodic check-in on the application is going to improve your chances of getting more deliveries. And for now, this is how the system's going to work. Maybe down the line, things will change.
I believe, you correct me if I'm wrong, T, but I'm pretty sure it's based like solely off movement too, right? Like if it doesn't detect that you're in a car driving, or like, I guess like walking around your house or something, like if you just have your phone sitting still for that 30 to an hour, then you get kicked offline.
Yeah. So if you're like driving, you don't need to worry about looking at your phone. Right. It's just if you're just sitting at home all day, like you might need to periodically pick it up and just reopen the application.
Right.
Because you're probably looking for work anyways. So.
Right. All right. And I'll let you obviously, like you stated earlier, I'm not 100% in dispatch anymore. I'm very touch and go there now. And this is kind of big for you guys and getting deliveries covered. So you want to touch on this one? Yeah.
So we talked about this, and we decided this is our first take at helping out with the gas prices. So basically, if a delivery is really large or a delivery is going very far, there's going to be surges now added to those deliveries, and that surge is very, very findable. You can see it right in the order title on the app. So if you pick up an order, and for example, maybe it says, Easy Cater order. Well, now it's going to say Easy Cater order dash $17 surge added. And that's going to be because of the distance or the order cost, things like that. So anything going very far is pretty much guaranteed to have that on there. And then anything that's very large often has it on there as well. So keep an eye out. I mean, it's very clear as day. I'm sure you've already seen it. It's literally in the order ID when you accept it. But that is an incentive being added onto the delivery, and that'll show up in your notes and be paid to you in full.
Exactly. And like you said, that's just kind of something to address the inflation, the gas prices going on lately. And it's honestly something to help coverage on our end too, right? Because a lot of the times those surges are being added to deliveries that are in, maybe a delivery is picking up in Boston and it's going 50 miles south, where the density, I guess, of drivers is not as large. Yeah. Like most drivers stay up towards the city. So, we need to pay someone a little extra to go out of their way 10, 50 miles south. Or, you have someone in LA and the delivery goes, this would never happen because LA to San Bernardino is like over 20 miles, but it goes out towards San Bernardino and they don't want to leave the city. Well, it's got that surge added for, an extra 10, extra $15 to maybe make it a little more worth your while,
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. Absolutely. It helps us with coverage. And the thing though is it takes these unique deliveries that just still follow the same exact pattern that every other delivery coming in does, in the pay and all that kind of stuff, unless mileage is crazy or whatever. But it takes these unique deliveries and makes them pay more because they're not just any delivery. They're going far. They're very big. Things like that. So
of course, always going to be added to deliveries that we determined would need some sort of extra pay. And like always, that being said, though, that doesn't mean that if you get a delivery that doesn't have a surge added to it, that doesn't mean don't reach out for an incentive if you need it, folks. So we touched on it in a few podcasts, I believe, as well. We talked about it. We will talk about it in the Bob Leviton interview coming up in a few weeks. But anytime you need help, getting to a pickup location, or you have a large delivery over $1,000 or $800, $900, and you feel you need more pay to get this delivery done, reach out to us, shoot us a text, give us a call. We're more than happy to work through it, get you paid out at a point you feel is accommodating to your effort and time. And we'll always do what we can for you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, now to end this off, Ben, let's have you start us off here with our guests that we have to look out for here in the month of April.
Right. Yeah, so we're going to close it out here, and this is kind of just giving an overview of what you guys will see the rest of the month, right? So hopefully moving forward, these In the News podcasts will be coming out the first week of each month. So we'll close it out each month, or each week, I should say, with what will proceed this podcast the rest of the month. Starting with April 15th. All these will be Fridays, obviously, as well. That's pretty straightforward. I probably shouldn't have to say that, but I'm going to. Mignon from Atlanta We recorded that probably about 2 weeks ago. That was a great interview. I know Mignon. I mean, I can't even like come up with words to say. I love her. She's great.
Yeah, I mean, she does so much work on her end, not just for the company, you know, for other drivers, things like that. And I would say she's out there working harder, routing deliveries, selling deliveries to her friends more so than maybe we are on some days. So great driver. She has a lot of good tips. Long time standing
referring
driver.
Drivers like nobody's business. She's probably gotten us more drivers in Atlanta than we've been able to recruit. Realistically, I mean, she does an absolutely amazing job. Moving on, the next Friday, April 22nd. This will be a big one. Maybe not for the driver fleet, but maybe the gig economy as a whole. I would say, because we will be having the authors Carl Orsborn and Meredith Sunderland from Delivering the Digital Restaurant. If you're a delivery driver, you might not be overly familiar with the book itself, but I would say if you're in the gig economy and someone who works within it every single day, definitely something you want to check out. Something you want to check out.
Definitely an interesting take on the gig economy they had. And I think, like you said, if you work in or you're any part of it, that book and the insight that they had actually surprised me because I didn't realize really what's going on as much as I didn't realize what was going on as much as I thought.
For sure. And I will say also, if you watch that podcast, there will be a promo code shared during that podcast to get their book. I think
20% off.
Is it 20? I was going to say 30. Yeah. 20% off. They give out a code in that interview. So I mean, if you only want to watch 10 seconds of the video, maybe we'll timestamp it or just include the code in the YouTube description of that video when it comes out. But I would definitely consider checking that book out. And then we will close the month out April 29th. Another great driver.
Absolute
Charles
veteran.
Hornbeck from Denver, Colorado. Charles has been on the platform legitimately as long as I've been with the company, if not maybe a couple months before. So, I mean, he's going on year 4 with DeliverThat. Was legitimately in Denver with us as we began, similar to Terry in Phoenix, one of the OG drivers of the market. So, I mean, thinking back to the conversation we had with him, he was just another driver who brought up things that only a veteran driver would think to speak about. You know, like there are a few different topics that I think have not been touched on that would be very, very poignant for people on the DeliverThat platform, people in the gig economy, independent contractors to hear and listen to.
Yeah, and I just want to mention one thing, a little tidbit from the podcast, the way that he talked about, and we discussed using Instagram as a resume when it comes to catering with little good tidbits.
That's true. Yeah. He is a setup contest veteran. I was gonna say general, but I don't think that really makes sense. I was just gonna say he leads the way, goes the extra effort, like Tristan just brought up. He posts his setups from DeliverThat deliveries every single day on Instagram, like literally every single day. If you followed along with the March Mania contest, his username is C Rich and then a couple numbers. So I think if you want to follow him, check out his profile, see what he's posting and doing every day with these deliveries. I mean, that guy, he's great. He's great to say the least. But
absolutely,
man. All right, well,
that was one hell of a podcast.
Yeah, that's our first time doing, man. There was a lot of information, a lot of things rattled off very, very quickly. So I don't know, recreating it next month will be interesting. I just hope there will continue to be things to talk about. Like there's not always acquisitions and mergers that happen month over month.
Yeah.
So it might be a little harder to dig things like that up.
Pull out some funny stuff, like
right.
Well,
but there's always going to be in the news stuff we can talk about.
Right.
There's always stuff happening with restaurants week over week, daily over daily. I think there was just something that happened like yesterday that I read on QSR or Nation's Restaurant News that I was like, man, I wish we would have put that in the podcast, but obviously we had already recorded, so we couldn't. So
yeah.
But good stuff.
One thing we want your feedback on this. So give us a like, leave us a comment. Leave us any kind of feedback you can on how you like this new episode. We'll be happy to hear it. We'll take any questions here at ideliverthat.com/podcast. You can sign up to be a driver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can leave your questions. You can even sign up to be on the podcast. So
sign up to be on the podcast, folks.
Yeah,
we'd love to have you. T, thanks for being here, man.
You too, my man, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.